All right, we are going over the pinger problem. Share my screen now. You can see here. All right, so the prompt is asking us to use the ping command to sweep, write a script called pinger that will ping every machine on the subnet. And we're going to assume it's /24 subnet, and then write those results to a file called pingsweep.txt and limit a ping attempt to each IP to one time. Okay, so there's a few things to unpack here. Before we even get to writing the bash code, let's just talk about what is a what does this /24 mean in terms of a network? What kind of notation is this? Give me the brain dump. What is it?
It's a CIDR notation for 255.255.255.0 subnet.
Yeah. So what that means is, I wish I had my pad so I could write these out, but we have IP addresses and we represent them as 4 octets of ones and zeros, in binary. So we have the /24 network means that we're working with only those last 3 digits in the IP address range that we can move around. So that means we're talking, 192.168.1.1 to 192.168.1.255, something like that, right? So let's, so we want to ping each one of those machines on the network one time, and then write the results to a file. So seems simple enough. Let's try it. I feel like we're going to need a loop because, we have a sequence that we would like to loop over. That seems to make sense, right? We'll follow that same kind of pattern that we had when we were making those strings that we were going to hash for the hash me problem. So let's do that. We're going to set bash to be what we're going to use. We're going to make a loop for, we'll call it IP because that makes sense, right? For IP in, and we'll use these sequence braces to go from 1 to 254. Okay, cool. Sounds good so far. Since I'm doing a loop for, I know I'm going to need some other words. I'm going to need do. I'm going to need done. I just write these ahead of time so I don't screw myself up. So what do I want to do inside each iteration of this loop? I have each number. What do you want me to do with each number? I have the number 1.
The IP address.
Ping each one to one time.
Okay, how do I do that? I got ping. That's my part. Would help me out.
-C1.
Sounds good, right? So -C1, get it so that we only ping one time and we're not just pinging forever. Now I want to put in the IP address there, so I'm just going to append it like I did before, 192.168.1, .1, and then here's where I'll put $IP. Again, you don't have to put these curly braces. I do it because I like to put my variables in curly braces. Okay, sounds good. Then what?
Append that into your text file.
Sounds good. Ping sweep.txt. Okay. Are people happy with this script? Have people written something that almost looks exactly like this? Are there anything they'd like to add to it or take away?
We wrote pretty much that. We were just confused on what IP and which IP to use, basically. But that I think is our confusion. So.
Okay. One thing you probably did notice is that if you run it like this, it does this loop in sequence, which means I'm not going to run it, but you probably got the experience where you got to see this thing running for a really long time and pinging trying to ping everything from 1 to 254. And maybe you held Control-C and you're like, please die. You're just really, really holding it under the water there, but eventually it runs out. So there's I tried to give a hint out in Slack about this and. It's ampersand. There is and double and. You can look them up. I put on the put a little cheat sheet around there for you. But essentially, this is telling us to run this command and don't wait Run it. Don't wait for the ping to come back. Just start running the next ones. That'll speed things up for us. So let's do this. Let's kind of keep the script here like that. Run it and see what we get. Do I already have a Pinger demo? I have too many files that start with Pinger now. /Pinger demo. Cool, we did it. That did it nice and fast. Thank you, thank you, ampersand. And we have pinged _sweep.txt. So let's cat this file and see the great loot that we got. Ugh. Not quite super useful to me at this point. There's a little bit more I can do to kind of massage this to make this data a bit more digestible to me. So if we know anything about ping, what do we know about ping? Let's kind of speak about that there. So kind of transition us into why did I want you to write this script specifically?
We're checking if you can communicate with a machine.
Yeah, they're checking to see, right? It's pretty much used to check to see if you can communicate with a machine. It uses the ICMP protocol, right? So it's essentially knocking on that IP address and seeing if anyone's home, if anyone is going to respond to my knock. So that's kind of useful, right? Like if I get onto a network, maybe I want to write a small script, especially you see how quick you can write that script, to knock on every available address for that network and see who's home. Now, this script right now, it's not so hot, but we can make it a little bit nicer. All right, let's go ahead and go back in there. And I'm going to before I throw that into ping sweep.txt, I'm going to look for something. I'm going to grep for a line, and I'm going to grep for the line bytes from. Why am I going to grep for the line bytes from? Because if you ping the response and someone responds, you get that line bytes from. So if I just grep for those, I'll find the lines where someone responds. I don't really care when someone doesn't respond, right? It kind of makes sense. That's, I think, the only thing I want to change. And we're going to remove our current ping sweep because that's kind of gross. Ping demo, pinger demo. Let me run it again. And we'll cat ping sweep. Now this is a little bit nicer. This is information that I feel like I can understand. What does this tell me about my home network? Or what does it tell all you guys now about my home network?
You have 4 different devices on it.
Yeah, exactly. I got 4 different devices here. Anyone want to take a guess as what this one is? The .1?
Router.
Yeah, that's my router. I don't know what all the rest of them are offhand. I know how to check though. I'm pretty sure this one might be my Raspberry Pi. One of these is my MacBook, and I'm not sure what this .2 is. When I ran this script earlier, I didn't have a .2 thing on my network, but my wife just came home, so it could be one of her devices. Cool, right? So that's what I want you to get at least out of this pinger script, and like start to feel that we're transitioning now from, just writing some bash so that you can understand how to like maybe administer computers or stuff like that, to starting to think how we can turn this to a bit more of an offensive thing and start to get some information that we can actually act on in the coming weeks, and really not too far. Once we start PWK, really, I'm going to start showing you how you can use some tools to, once you have these IP addresses, someone's here, you kind of want to get some more information. What services are running on that machine? Is there a web server on that machine, an FTP server? Are they running SSH? All of those things are maybe interesting to me. If there's a web server on there, what kind of web server? What version? Right? Then once I find the version, what's running on there, I can start looking for exploits. Can I run code? Can I get it to run code and, send me a shell so I can run code on the machine? That's the direction we're moving in, so that's what I wanted to show you about that. Any
Matt, are
questions?
you on your VM for this?
Mhm.
So what network settings do you have for you to be able to access like the entirety of your home network?
Cool. Let me put up VMware. Where is it? Where is it? We could take a look together as soon as I find out where it is on this desktop. Let me stop share real fast. New. Cool. So mine will look a little bit different than yours. You guys, once we start PWK, don't do it yet, but once you have access, you guys will use a free version of VMware. You'll use the trial because it lasts at the same amount of time that you'll have access to PWK. And PWK, I'm pretty sure you need to. Actually, you don't need to use VMware, but it's a little bit nicer. So you can see here, I have 2 network adapters. One of them is sharing, internet sharing with my Mac. And I have another one that is private to my Mac. So I have 2 different settings, 2 different adapters. And if you take a look here, you can see those 2. What the heck, where are you? Go up here. You can see those if I do an IPC. You can see these 2 adapters. So one of them is me on my home network, and the other one's a private one that I use when I connect to VMs. So I have like another network going on. And this is my loop back. You can play around with some of your settings. I'm not so as familiar with them in VirtualBox, but I'm pretty confident you could get it so that you can have them you can have your Kali talking on the same network, and you can start pinging your own devices if you like.
Yeah, if you want to do that in Kali, in VirtualBox, I believe you want bridged. I don't remember if it's just called bridged or if it's something else. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, definitely worth doing and checking out. I was going to go deeper but I'll show you next time. We can scan the things on my network and see what's on them.
Yeah, VirtualBox is bridged if you want to be able to talk to machines on your local network.
Cool. So with that, how about everyone takes 5 minutes? We'll come back at 4:20 and start reviewing for the assessment. So we'll go through the exam, any questions we have, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, are we gonna? Oh, I'm not sure if Frank is here. Good question about the VPN test connection.
I'm here.
Usually we do it together.
Yeah, but
because of the holiday, I don't know.
I mean, I found it pretty simple to do if people are trying to do it on their own.
It's not super hard. You got to just follow the directions. And they're all in an email that you can just literally follow line by line, even though I know it's like scary the first time.
Yeah, it's asking you to do it with VMware, I think.
For the connection, it won't matter. You can do it with your VirtualBox Kali to test the connection. But as far as like once you're officially in the lab, they're supporting the VMware. So if you're having any issues, they're expecting that you're on VMware. But for right now, to just test your connection, like OpenVPN is OpenVPN.
What if you're running a native Linux environment like I am? Do I really need to use?
They suggest it in the email that they use their version of it because they install certain things on it that might have compatibility issues. As far as I read, I mean, I could just not be right, but that's what I read in the email.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. Your mileage may vary. You have a good answer, Frank? I don't.
I don't remember, and I'm trying to think if anybody else has had. I don't remember if anybody. I'm sure we've had somebody else who had native Linux, but I don't know if they did it PWK without it. I mean, without using a VM. So I don't know.
So I can get like a trial version of VMware to use, right? I mean,
Yeah,
There's
so
like a
that's what
free version of it that, at least when I downloaded it, sorry, there's a free version and it said as long as it's not commercial use, you can use it as long as you want.
I have
It's for
heard that
Windows
recent.
only.
No, Frank. I have heard another student was telling me this too like a week or two back that I think there's a free version for Mac now. I'm not on top of it, but
okay.
yeah.
Is
So-
there a
so-
VMware for Linux?
Yes, there is, but is there a free version for Linux? That's what I'm wondering.
you gotta write your own.
No, I'm not writing my own. I am not that patient.
What version of Linux are you running, Warren?
Debian 10.
Okay.
Actually, Debian 10.6.
Okay.